whip together my eggs and my sugar. It makes a really light and airy cake. Also, I've had this machine for years and I hate it so much, so ignore how ugly it is. After whipping all my ingredients, I fold in the flour so it adds a lot of air in the cake and makes it really fluffy. I put that in the oven and then clean up a little bit. Before the basbousa comes out, I poke some holes in it and I pour over all the milk. I wanted to make sticky toffee pudding and I found this date pastry filling, so I wanted to try this out instead of normal dates. The only ingredients were dates and oil, so I think it was fine. I added some baking soda, mixed that all together, and I whipped together my brown sugar, eggs, butter, and then added in the dates. I love sticky toffee pudding and I've only recently discovered how much of an elite dessert it is, especially with hot custard. At this point, my other cake was baked, so I took that out, but you don't want to poke holes in this whilst it's still hot. You need to leave it to rise. I mixed together condensed milk, evaporated milk, and whole milk and set that aside. And then on a pot, I started making my caramel. Whilst my caramel was just thickening up, I started seasoning my chicken, added all the seasoning, yogurt, garlic, ginger, lemon, oil, and then mixed that all together. Honestly, the best way to do it is just get in with your hands and make sure every piece of chicken is coated. Once the cake is cooled down, I poke some holes in it and pour the milk over it and set that aside as well. I take a minute to clean up a little bit, put everything away, and then I check on my caramel and it was ready. It was cooled down as well. I poke some holes in my date cake and then pour over the caramel. I also reserve a little bit and set that aside. I'll do the finishing touches on the cake the next day, but for now, that's how I'm going to leave it. I also just decided to cook my mincemeat for the rolls the next day. I start breaking down my mincemeat in a pot with some oil, and whilst that's cooking, I chop up some onions, bell peppers and chilies, season the meat, take it off the pot and then add in the vegetables. Now it's the next morning. I wash all the rice and then cover it with some water and set it aside. And then I start with my dough, mix together all my ingredients and then set that aside to double in size. My mom also forces me to make a fruit tray anytime there's guests coming over, so I like to get that out of the way so I can get all of that stuff out of the kitchen. Same goes with the salad. I just want to do it and get it out. I didn't like the bowls I put it in, so I transferred it to this tray. Then my mum came in the kitchen at this point and started making her anabrawa. While she's doing that, I blended some chili sauce. I separated it into 2 pots and then with one half, I added a bunch of yogurt. And then I whipped together double cream to top on the milk cake, topped that with some strawberries, and then that was done and I put that on the dessert table. And then it's time for the meat. We have 3.5 kilos of lamb shoulder here. I add in all my spices, my bay leaf, cinnamon sticks, dried lemon, top that with some water and then cover it to cook. My dough's doubled in size, so I roll it out, top it with the mincemeat and then cut that as I would cinnamon rolls, put that in the tray and leave it for 10 minutes and then I do an egg wash and put that in the oven. And then I slice up some onions and coat in flour for the crispy fried onions. For my basbousa, I coated it with some cream cheese and some Oreos, and then I laid on all my chicken on a pan and put that in the oven to bake. My sister came over and she bought this yummy chocolate cake and the aubergine as well, and she also tried to outdo me with a salad. And then I started cooking the rice, add some onions in a pan, add some coriander, add your meat back in, and then sift in all your broth. Add in the rice, mix it all together. Then I flipped the chicken, and this is how I left my mom. I didn't get to come home on time and everything was finished. So I hope everyone enjoyed it.